Hi everybody, my name's Dominic Palazzolo. I'm the owner of Marvelous Molds and I have something new to show you, okay? What I'm going to show you is going to save you time and money. So let's talk about a type of cake that for the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, has been really popular. It's in all the magazines, everybody wants to do it, and it's called a confetti cake or a sequin confetti cake. And it's just usually shown in gold and it's got this beautiful texture. But I've got to tell you, even though it's really popular, I'll bet some of you out there who have tried it find it a real pain to make, and it's really expensive, okay? So I'd like to show you the new Simpress. And let me show you what this baby does, okay? What we did was we took those sequins and we arranged it into the most packed, perfect organization and grouping of sequins so that it just pops. But believe it or not, this is fondant. There's not one sequin candy in this whole thing. Let me just lift this up, and I'll bring it up to the camera real slow, and look at that detail, okay? And it's all fondant. Now, if you notice, I made this fondant in kind of a gold color because I'm going to paint it gold, and then that really helps, okay? But let's bring in another sequin panel, a Simpress panel, and let's, as always with Marvelous Molds, we always make sure that one panel goes into another perfectly. So when you use this to panel a cake, you are not going to have any ghastly seams showing on the cake. All right, so that is our new Simpress, and we call it Confetti already. So let's digress a little bit. So what I did was I did some research, and I thought about, how do they make these cakes, right? Well, let's talk about it. First, you take your cake and you cover it with fondant, okay? Time, right? Okay. Then we take some piping gel. Well, wait a second. Let me get this cake up on a turntable, okay? Because I'll tell you what, man, this is going to be a mess. All right? I personally think this is a small train wreck, but let's go into it, okay? So we take some piping gel, okay? Some nice gelatinous mass here. And what we do is we're going to paint it on the side of the cake. I'm not going to do the whole cake. A lot of you know the drill. Let's put a little bit on the top. I just love piping gel all over my cake. I'm not a fan of piping gel. I like piping gel for piping. That's about as much as I can take. I don't want to cover my whole cake with piping gel, but all right, let's do it. Okay, now what we do is we take these sequins, all right? Now, I don't know if you've priced these lately, but the amount of sequins that you're going to need to cover an 8-inch diameter cake is going to cost you $10 to $20. You're $10 to $20 into the cost of this cake right from the beginning. But here's something more important. If I was at a wedding and I had this really beautiful posh wedding cake and I got my slice and it was covered with these, I'm not sure I want to eat these, okay? Have you ever eaten them? Let's try this. Not good. Hold on 1 second. I don't really enjoy that texture. I don't want that on my cake. I'd rather have delicious fondant. Okay, so your customers are probably going to be peeling this off and just eating the cake inside, and you know how much that bothers us, right? So we got this expensive confetti that people don't really like to eat, except maybe kids. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab it by the handful and we're going to put it on the side of the cake, right? Just like that. And what we're doing is we're hoping that it sticks, okay? All right. Well, look at the mess that I'm making. I've got all of this confetti here, okay? And I'm not getting complete coverage. It's very, very difficult, okay? Plus, I'm getting the piping gel on my hand, so this is becoming just a complete mess, all right? I really wouldn't want to do this in my shop, but let's take it a step further, okay? So now what we want to do is we don't want it to look like that. We want it to look really, really nice. So we're going to take our color and we're going to paint it on, okay? And that has an effect, but I'm just wondering, do you see them dropping off? You see that? And so what we got to do is we've got to work it in and use it a lot, use a lot of this color in order to get, you know, the surface of the cake. Maybe I should have let this wait a little longer, whatever. I know one thing. This is a mess. It's expensive. It's really time consuming. And I'm not sure it's the best tasting cake. All right? So, let's see what the Simpress can do for us. I've got to clean this up. We'll be back and let's look at this a whole nother way. All right, I'm back. Now, you know, I go to a lot of shows demonstrating my molds, and if you've seen me, you've seen my traveling fondant cake, okay? But I don't want you to think of this as a fondant cake, because really, we developed the Simpress for a crumb-coated cake, all right? So remember when I started out with the cake that we had to cover with fondant? We don't have to cover it with fondant, okay? We've got a crumb-coated cake, all right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our Simpress and I'm going to put some shortening on the back. That'll be my glue, okay? Now, for those of you who don't know what a Simpress is, it's a cake panel maker, okay? It makes panels out of fondant or modeling chocolate or whatever, and it's a device where you can actually apply panels to the cake. You don't have to roll out fondant and put it over a cake and do all that. You panel the cake, all right? Okay, so if you want to know how to use a Simpress, we've got a whole masterclass on it. You can go to my website or our channel on YouTube, Marvelous Molds, and you could watch it, okay? But I'm assuming you got a kind of an understanding, and you'll see how we do it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Simpress and I'm going to apply it to the surface of my crumb-coated cake, okay? My crumb-coated cake. All right, now let's just peel that off. Boom. Oh, wow. Okay, here. Let's look at this. Okay, look at that compared to this. I mean, that is the texture that everybody's looking for. I mean, this is royalty, okay? Okay, so let's get another Simpress. And I'm going to apply my shortening. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is, you see how that's shaped, right? Okay. Well, all you got to do is take your Simpress and just parallel park it right in there, okay? And just apply it to your cake. Okay? And really, let me take a look here. We want to get that as close as we can. Okay? And then we're going to okay. All right. Now, you see the seam? Okay. Let me just do a little bit of coaxing here. Get it all lined up. Let me turn it around real quick. I was doing it backwards for your benefit. Okay. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I mean, not only are you getting the best looking arrangement of these sugar sequins, but it's in delicious fondant. All right. Okay. So for all you high volume operations out there, for all of you who are getting that big wedding cake this season, this is how I would do it. You refrigerate the Simpress, okay? Refrigerate it or freeze it, covered, of course. Make these ahead of time. Bang them out, put them on a sheet pan, get them in there nice and covered. And when you're ready to assemble your cake, you know, fill your cake, do the crumb coat, get it nice and chilled, and then you can sit down and finish this cake an hour before you want to deliver it, okay? So let's see how that works. I'm just holding the Simpress in my hand. I'm just going to get some shortening, and this is the way I would do it if I had a lot of cakes. If I really wanted to go quickly, I would just unmold my fondant panel, okay? Put some shortening on that. Let's see how this works, okay? So I'm just going to do this backwards for you guys, okay? But look at that. Look how quick I can do this, okay? Oh, my God. It's perfect. Okay, so there we go. See? I hope you're seeing this. I hope you're getting it. How fast, okay? So I'll be just talking to you. I've got no piping gel on my hands. I don't have any piping gel. I'm just going to put my shortening on the back. And let's see. Of course, these are 2 times the length of pie by 4 inches. If you're British and you only have a 3-inch high cake, that's okay. Just use the Simpress 3-inch. You don't have to fill the whole thing, okay? All right, so let's parallel park that one in here. And let's get this right in there. And boom. Now, any of you who have ever made a sequin confetti cake, you didn't do it like this. I know it, okay? I can confidently say that you didn't get a cake looking like this, all right? And I didn't spend $10 to $20 for the sequins, all right? I didn't cover my cake with piping gel. So I'll just leave that rest. All right, so what do? You can keep it like this and have a buttercream top, okay? Put your sequins on the buttercream if you want to, but what if you wanted to cover the whole thing with fondant, all right? Let's just make this thing look absolutely covered completely. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let me take a couple panels. What I recommend you do is make yourself a template out of a cake circle. That is the diameter of your cake when you crumb coat it, you know? You all know that, all right? just make a template like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that aside. Okay, and I'm going to take out some panels. Okay. Let's put this aside. All right, now look at that. You know, we know that we need about 3 panels to cover the cake, but that doesn't look so good, right? Well, let's just cut this baby in half, okay? And let's use the beautiful seam that we've created in order to cut down that look. We've got to move this one like that, and then we park this baby in there, and look at that. Now we've got this beautiful top. See that? Nice and bumpy. Absolutely perfect. Okay. Then we're going to put that on top, and then take a wheel knife. Now don't press down hard. Just keep your template there, okay? And let's just cut around with our wheel knife. Okay. Is that cool? You know, what you should be thinking is, with this Simpress, I'll be able to offer a confetti sequin cake anytime I want now. It's not something special. It's not something I have to upcharge for. It basically is the same work as a fondant covered cake. So I don't know if you're in the business of making cakes and you get money for it. Well, you're going to compete really, really well. Okay, you'll compete against anybody who doesn't know the new way to do it. Okay, number 2, if you just make your cakes for family and friends, you can pull off something like this. I'll tell you what, your sister-in-law will hate you. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to it. I like to mess around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pieces and I'm going to put them over here, and you go ahead. I'm just going to apply some shortening to the top of my traveling cake, my traveling crumb-coated cake, okay? All right. And then watch how easy this is. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to line it up with the top of my cake, okay? Don't line it up to the top of your fondant line, okay? I don't know if you can see that or not, but what I'm trying to do is just line it up with the edge of my cake, and we're going to fix that later, and I'm going to show you how, okay? So now we're just putting this and doing the same, lining it up with the edge of the cake, just like that. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, can you believe it? Okay. So now what we're going to do is just puzzle piece. Look at how beautiful that works. I think you might be impressed, okay? I'm getting the feeling like you might be impressed, okay? Okay. So, we got a problem. And I know every one of you cake decorators are looking at this glaring seam right here, right? Like, what is that, you know? Yeah, you could push it together, okay, but you're still going to have a seam. And you can do that if, you know, you want to do it quick. Okay, a solution would be you could put a little piping gel or glue and you could use these to fill them in. I don't like that, but you can do that, right? Let's talk about another way of doing it, okay? I'm going to put this aside. We're going to cut away. And I'm going to roll this out, and then we'll come back and I'll show you a little trick that I thought of, okay? I'm back. Okay, so let me show you what I did. I just rolled out some fondant, right? And just rolled it out. Nice and thin. We want it kind of thin, okay? I know. How thin? Don't worry. Just kind of thin. If you think it's thin, that's good. All right? Okay. So do you notice I cut a straight edge there? Okay. Okay. So we're going to take our cornstarch and see how I cornstarched a diagonal line. You know? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice thin line like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut it with my wheel knife. Okay. Now I'm going to put that on to my Simpress. And I'm going to press it down into the pattern in my Simpress. You guys are going to love this. And what I'm making is this little snaky guy. Okay. And I really do, let me kind of show you up here. I do want it nice and thin. Okay. We're filling the sequin indentations. Okay. And it's nice and thin on this side. That's exactly the way you want it. Okay. It doesn't have to be really thick. If you make it thick, it's not going to look as good. All right. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to bend my Simpress like this, okay? I'm just going to kind of coax it out because I really don't want to distort my sequins, all right? So now we have this sequin-covered snake, and I'll bet you know what I'm going to do with that, right? Let's bring this cake back in. Okay, so you can put piping gel here, you can put shortening here, you can put your favorite glue. I'm going to put some shortening because that's what I've got, okay? And we'll just put some shortening in there real quick. Get that off of there, okay? Okay, that looks a little wide. Now watch. Okay, see that seam? Watch what happens. Now I gotta do this backwards. That puts me at a disadvantage, but boom, shaka-laka-laka, boom. We're gonna just put that on there. And it's gone, okay? See that? I know. There's some of you very, very perfectionists. You can see a little line. Okay. All right. But really, come on. It's wonderful. Look at that. Look at that. See that? See that? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this seam. We'll come back and paint this puppy. All right? And I guarantee it's going to blow your mind. Okay. So, I've put my sequin snakes over the piece, over the seam, and there you go. Now, if you want to, you can take a tool and you can kind of touch it up. You know, you can compress the lines, or if you want, you can take these little confettis and work them in, you know, whatever you want to do. But I would say that already we have reached a perfection that I don't think anybody's achieved in the cake decorating industry. Okay, so you ready? Let's put some gold on this. I'm going to start at the top. Now, notice the color of fondant, like I said before, okay? This is a mixture of yellow and brown in order to create a golden tone, okay? I personally don't like to eat a lot of color, okay? And when it's metallic, I like to eat it less. But really, let's face it, this is a really attractive cake. So with this color of fondant, I'm not going to have to really dig in. I can just apply my color very, very quickly. And I don't, you know, I don't have to stroke it too much. I get my, I don't know if I have absolutely 100% coverage here, but it looks like it. And that's all that's important. Besides, you know, this color is expensive. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm just putting this on. Very fine. Now, I don't know if my overhead camera is capable of showing you the beauty, the details, the bumpy sequin edginess of this surface, okay? Are we able to zoom in on it? Let's see, let's give you a look, okay? We're gonna zoom in there, even closer. Go Ben, go Ben, go Ben. Yes, yes, that's what they want to see, okay? So, you know, I keep the seam there because I'm all about time. Okay, let's back out. And I didn't really see that seam, okay? And what you can do is you can close that seam, or you can use a sequin snake, okay? I didn't, all right? I didn't. And so now it's gone. See that? It's that easy. Okay, let's do the side. Okay, so I want to do it like this. I'll try to be quick, but let's get to it, okay? We're just going to go ahead and paint this, and you guys can watch the transformation of this cake. And I just, you know, think about it. Think about how fast I was able to pull this off. Think about how easy this is. You could actually delegate making this really classic, super popular cake to an assistant while you do something more complex, okay? This is easy. This is really, really easy. And you know, when you do this, what I'm doing, you put your color on for the first time, you're not going to believe it. You're going to be shocked, okay? Because I swear you've never seen anything like this. And I want to know, do you see any of these little sequins falling off? Do you see any piping gel on my hands? Absolutely not. Look at this. I'm finishing this thing off, and boy, if you had an airbrush, man, you could do this a heck of a lot faster. Okay? And there we go. Look at that. Look at the sheer perfection. And remember, this is just fondant, okay? So you can make this cake in half the time at a quarter of the price. So you know you want this. You know you want this, okay? And I recommend you go to marvelousmolds.com and order this puppy right away, or any of our fine distributors all over the world, okay? Because they're out, and this is going to make you money, and it's going to save you time. And as always, Marvelous Molds is going to make you look really good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Would love your feedback. You know, you could like this video. That would help me a lot. Or join my newsletter so you know when I'm coming out with something else that's pretty terrific. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.